Hello literature connoisseurs. Let's begin chapter 13 of Nicolae. The chapter begins with Rayford. He gets awakened by his wife telling him a story that worthless Bruce's former secretary said she had a strange desire to pray for Buck. This is a typical Christian trope, they say, where they get this supposed desire to pray as if it's supposed to do anything. The idea is that God knows something is going to happen, but this quote, unquote, all-powerful God cannot act unless people pray to him asking for him to help. The times I was a Christian, you would hear stories like this where someone starts by telling some miracle happened in their lives, which is really more of a coincidence. Somebody listening would start in about how they felt the Holy Spirit telling them to pray at that exact moment for that exact person. One such event was when a friend's car broke down on the side of the road and their phone wasn't working. A stranger stops and offers to call AAA for them. This gets claimed it was a miracle. Meanwhile, another person seeking attention chimes in that at that time the Holy Spirit told them to pray for the one who had car trouble. So their impotent God can't have acted unless someone prayed. However, just because someone was nice enough to stop and help someone in need really isn't a miracle. Maybe be grateful to the person who helped out instead of an imaginary friend. Moving on. We get what I suppose is Christian humor, but it's anything but. Rayford seems to be teasing her and she acknowledges that, but still remains frantic and wants everyone at church that Sunday to apparently go over what happened. Not sure when she became a member of their little force. Rayford makes a remark that if she ever feels this upset about him, then to pray for him with all her might. She then questions if he's being serious. Scene changes to Buck and Buck drives off from the border. We learn that the lone guard was a convert, and when he saw Tsion hiding he spoke to him and told him to pray, then revealed that he is a Christian. So this is supposed to be the supposed miracle, that a Christian finds Tsion hiding in the bus. This really is a worthless miracle, and if a Christian was there all along, why did he need to pray? This is silly. A few weeks ago at work I was working at the main desk and I received a call from a coworker. She said she can't find her phone and could I search there to see if she left it. I look around but no cell phone around. After I tell her this, she then realizes that she was calling me on the phone she thought she lost. That is what this so-called miraculous event is. I have to honestly question if the authors are really Christians, at this point. They just seem to go out of their way to make them look foolish. So they drive on to another stop and another guard finds Tsion but doesn't recognize him. You know, because if there was a manhunt, then wouldn't they give out wanted posters so they know who they are looking for? Skipping ahead because they spend pages just rehashing that they run into border patrol and how they manage to sneak Tsion by. Claiming it's a miracle if he hides under floorboards and the guards don't bother to check. Eventually they drive through a roadblock because they are running out of gas, and even though they are not being chased and they technically could stop and refill. Buck thinks that there are vehicles behind them chasing them and he refuses to stop, even though they are not being chased. Chloe calls because they love to give her bad timing and she can't take a hint as Buck explains he can't talk because he's in an imaginary life and death struggle. Then he calls the pilot he charted the flight with and asks if Ken is okay breaking the law. Ken is thrilled by the idea and we learn that Buck is being chased by a single squad car, but a roadblock is set up and two other cruisers are standing by. Buck tells Tsion he is going to crash into the roadblock and blow up the bus so they can escape. They set the bus on fire then run out of it towards the airplane. They manage to fly off to safety and this is supposed to be a miracle. Seems odd that only a small number of officers would be available with a manhunt in progress and an illegal international gate crash. You would think this would draw more attention because more than likely this would be WHE ones the law enforcement are searching for. Again, the sloppy writing is meant to be a miracle when it really isn't. The whole thing gets set up as a strawman that the armies of the Antichrist are lame and incompetent. When in reality it is the authors projecting themselves into their story. This escape could have been much more exciting and could have been worth a read if written better. Even Buck using the same tired alias that he used in the first book seems ridiculous. Nicolae knew that Buck used that alias when Buck used it to get entrance to a press conference Nicolae was hosting. So if Nicolae ordered this manhunt, he would have told them to be on the lookout for Buck and all his known aliases. This ends the chapter. See you next time for chapter 14 of Nicolae.